All right, guys, good morning. Glad to have y'all back with us again. Well, my old crab man Micah is out here. By the way, my name's Brian. This is Cliffside Outfitters. And I've got the old crab man Micah with me today. And of course, Matthew is out there in his kayak somewhere. But we are fishing the Pamlico Sound in North Carolina out here on the Outer Banks. It's early in the morning and we're coming up on a high tide, and we're gonna see if we can't catch some drum. The puppy drum been running up in here. It's September, about the middle of September, early to middle of September, and we're gonna try to catch some puppy drum, and we may get lucky and catch some spotted sea trout. So y'all come along with us. Let's see if we can catch some fish. Puppy drum. Pretty little puppy drum. Hold him right there. We'll get the net. What's a fat one right there? Look at it. That's a pretty fish. Man. Get him? Yeah, we got him at. I don't know what it is. It ain't much, I don't think. Ruggers. It's just a fish, buddy. Just a fish. Just a fish. No.
I noticed it on the other one, it kind of looked a little blue. That looks more blue.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, we got him in a little drum. He's just a little bitty fella. He's right here. This is your puppy drum. Micah caught one a while ago that was almost big enough to keep, and this one here, he's a little fella. But these fish got to be 18 inches for you to keep them, or they're a slot limit fish. 18 to 27, I think, is the regulation. I'd have to double check. I got my book right here with me, but caught him on a piece of mullet. So we catch a fish and have a good time. So guys, what I'm doing here, and it's just a standard rig. I got if you'll look, I've got a steel leader on there. We got a circle hook and a steel leader, and I'm just tied directly to my main line. And of course, if I was to catch a 40-pound fish, that'd probably break. We know that, but I ain't going for that. And let me see if I can find this here. I probably don't need this much weight, but I've got this number 2 pyramid sinker on my main line, and it's sliding up and down. And that way, when that fish grabs, almost like a Carolina rig, but for saltwater. So that fish grabs it, he'll just take it like that right there, and I can feel him bite, and I can break his jaw. So let's get back out there and see if we can't get it. All right, guys, now this is a little bit lighter setup. This is a dropper rig here, and I've got my sinker down here on the bottom. I don't know if you can see that, but there is my sinker. And then I have got a little bit of trash on there, but I've got a loop knot, dropper loop tied on that, and then that goes over to my fishing rod here, and I've got a circle hook tied. Of course, it goes up to my main line. But this is just a little bit lighter rig that we can use, and this is good for all kinds of fishing down here. And you can buy a setup that's got this already up on it, but you can tie just a couple knots. You can learn to tie this yourself, and it'll save you some money, and in my opinion, it'll catch more fish. It's not near as well, gaudy, let's just put it that way. Now, you may be wondering why I'm using 2 different rigs. That one rig, that first rig I showed you, is on a bait caster, a little heavier rod, and I can get it further out there. I won't get further out. Like I said, we're on the edge of the sound. It's pretty shallow in here. When the tide comes in, of course, them fish come up out of the deep water and come up on this flat to feed. They'll get to chasing shad and shrimp, whatever's on this flat that they're feeding on. So I'm using that heavier rig with that 2-ounce sinker. Not that I need a sinker that big to hold the line still or anything like that. That sinker is for casting. I can throw pretty good ways out through there. And then, of course, I've got this light set up here, which is more ideal for the size fish that we're catching. But, you know, I can't get quite as far with this. So that's why I'm using the 2 different setups, so that I can target at different areas. A lot of times you size it based on the water depth. Water shallow here. I'm sizing my sinker based on casting ability. I can cast it further. So that's what's going on with the 2 different rigs that we're using. There he is. There he is. I believe he's a tiny one. Maybe I didn't even get it.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, I got it. I'll tell you what, folks. Look at that big one. That thing right there. He ain't very big at all. He ain't even just much bigger than my finger there. They're out here everywhere. If you got children and you come down here, you ought to try this. Use a little bit smaller hook, and same setup will work. Just use a smaller hook. You can catch these all day. They're so prolific in here. If you'll notice, when we get a bite, we're hesitating a little bit. You don't set the hook right on the initial bite. Now, it depends on the bite, but if you get a bump, we sort of watch it and feel it out a little bit, because there's so many of these little bait thieves in here that you're waiting for a pretty good bite before you set the hook. So, there's old Matthew out there in his kayak. I wonder if he can catch anything. Looks like he might be. Looks like he might be. He's out there after him. All right, guys. Let me show you a little something here. We're going to go to an egg sinker. I had that pyramid sinker on. I'd been fishing the surf, and it worked fine. But what I noticed, throwing it out and reeling it in here in the sound, that I kept getting, well, my line was twisting around my leader. And it wasn't allowing the movement. My bait, when the fish picks that bait up, this rig, like a Carolina rig, is made to slide. And if it all gets twisted up, then it can't do that, and the fish can feel your weight, and that'll mess you up. Got to keep the fish from being able to pull freely on the bait, and they feel the weight of the sinker, and sometimes that can interfere with your catch ratio. So we're going to switch it up here and switch to the standard egg sinker. And I'm still using the steel leader because there's a possibility we might get on a bluefish out here, and if we do, if we're using a mono, their teeth definitely cut it. So let's switch this up and see if it works a little better. Oh, there it goes. There it goes, there it goes, there it goes. Oh, we got a fish on here, folks. We got one on. Got one on. Got one on. Ain't a pinfish. Don't know what it is. Ain't no pinfish. Don't know what we got here. Let's see what we got. Just don't never know out here. Just don't never know out here. I want to take it under this rod. Bring it all over. Oh, that's a trout there, boy. Yes, sir.
What's that?
Sorry, guys, didn't mean to leave you there. Yeah, right there, yeah. Ain't bad. Sucker got some teeth, huh? All right. Right there we go. Guys, old sea trout. That's a good eating. Pretty little fish. Now, see, I caught him on that lighter rig that I was using. It wasn't quite as far out. And it's a different kind of fish. But a pretty little fella. These fish right here, they got to be 14 inches for you to keep them. And of course, he's going to make the grade. So that's going to be my shore lunch for this evening. Oh, there he is right there.
Got him again.
I got him again, boys. Got him again. That's another one of them trout. That's another one of them trout. I don't know if I'm gonna need a net on this or not. No, I don't think I'm gonna need a net on this one.
No.
That ain't no trout.
It hit hard, didn't it?
It hit hard. I thought I was gonna have me another one of them sea trout, but it ended up being one of these pinfish. And they're fun to catch. I've never tried to eat one. Y'all can check in that yourself, but I did cut them up for bait from time to time. They make good bait. And they're fun for the children. That's why I was telling you about the bait thieves. They're fun for the children to catch. But they're sort of red. The meat's sort of dark, so I don't know if it'd make any good eating or not when you're catching sea trout and puppy drum. It's sizable. Go mess these old pinfish. Well, all right, guys. Well, we're gonna cut it short here. The tide's swinging on us, and the fish slowed down a little bit. We're gonna go get some breakfast. We didn't catch a whole lot this morning, but we was able to catch a few fish, and I hope you guys learned something. We don't claim to be professionals or anything like that. We just like to fish, and if we stumble across something that works, we'll try to share it with everybody. And, so we thank you for joining us. We really appreciate you watching the videos. Until next time, Mr. Brian, Cliffside Outfitters. Y'all have a good day.